Hi guys. This video is going to briefly go over the new procedures that are in place by the International Skating Union to determine who goes to the Olympics, which spots are assigned from Worlds, how the spots will be assigned at the Nebelhorn Trophy in the fall, and how we'll come to the full field. Here's the document. It was published in December 2019 and it outlines all of the qualifying procedures. This first part, D1, is important in the sense that it says qualification through 2021 Worlds, men and ladies each have 24 spots. We're just going to focus on those for now, but that has not changed since the last Olympics, 24 spots being qualified for the singles via Worlds. Moving down, it explains the same procedure of having 13 or less between two entries to get 3 entries, or 28 or less between 2 entries to keep 2 entries, and so on. The important part to keep in mind about this D1 section is that it clarified above that 24 spots are taken via Worlds. This last line says, NOCs who through their ISU member nation have earned the necessary points according to that chart above, the 13 and 28 rule, will have the right for 2 or 3 entries only if, in addition, keep in mind, only if, in addition, they also had 2 or 3 entries qualify and finish the free skate at the 2021 World Figure Skating Championships. Now we scroll down a little bit to section D2, and this is qualification through Senior International Qualification Competition designated by the ISU, which is the Nebelhorn Trophy in autumn 2021. The important line on this section, which designates 6 spots for the men and the women, we're again just going to focus on them, is the last line. NOCs which have earned the necessary points for 2 or 3 entries but did not have 2 or 3 skaters qualified to the free skating free dance at the ISU World Figure Skating Championship 2021. This quota place will be in addition to the quota places that the NOC had earned in D1. These ISU members are entitled to enter 1 skater if they had not qualified for the free skating or free dance at the World Figure Skating Championships 2021. So, since there is a separation here that puts these skaters into D2 where only 6 spots are available, the 24 spots that are taken at Worlds, none of those spots are being held for any countries. They're not being held for the United States. They're not being held for China in pairs. They're not being held for Russia, for France, any of the countries that may be qualified more in the men. There's several of them. What they're doing is saying that those skaters that potentially have a 2nd or 3rd spot need to be among the 6 best at Nebelhorn. This differs from what's being passed around the internet right now and what people like Mitch Moyer, who's part of US Figure Skating, are apparently conveying to journalists, in the sense that, let's go back to the men in the US situation again. Nathan Chen, Jason Brown did enough to qualify 3 men to the Olympics potentially. Vincent Zhou, since he didn't qualify to the free skate, now a US skater besides Chen or Brown has to go to Nebelhorn and finish and actually confirm that spot. The impression that people are under is that that US spot is being taken out of the 24 from D1 and it's being held essentially for that skater at Nebelhorn. And then if the US skater can't finish in that top group with that extra spot, then it would just go to somebody else. This is why I believe that their interpretation is wrong, and I believe that the ISU makes it very clear that it's not going to work this way. Going back up to D1 for a second, look at this top row. Next highest ranked athlete from NOC is not qualified with 3 and 2 places until the quotas of qualification through the World 2021 are reached. Remember, the quota is 24 for men and ladies. I'll explain in a second why it might not be 24. It could be less, but it's not going to be more than 24. And this D1 section is only considering skaters that were in the free skate at Worlds. D2 says that the quota for anyone else goes into that 6. I hope that makes sense. The reason why there might not necessarily be 24 spots at Worlds can be seen in the situation China has. They had 2 men in the free skate. They did not do well enough with their total placements in order to keep 2 men, so they're down to 1. Since only 24 men qualified to the free skate, only 23 are going to qualify here because you don't go to 25th place. They were not in the free skate. And then that 7th spot will go to Nebelhorn in that instance. So I know, like usual, the ISU kind of put out a document that isn't super clear cut. It's confusing to read. However, I think they've done enough to really clarify what their intention is, and I don't think there's any way around it. And I also think that the people reporting otherwise really didn't read it right, or they're being told the wrong thing because people didn't bother to actually read it. So in summary, previously going into an Olympic Games or even a World Championships, if skaters placed high enough within the results, say there were 2 skaters that placed high enough, 13 or less total placements, they'd have 3 spots for the Olympics automatically. There was no confirming that entry. There was no second event to make sure they could skate there. They just had that entry. It's changed now so that, like the US men, there were 2 skaters that placed well enough to have 3 entries, but only 2 skaters made the free skate. Since Vincent Joe did not qualify to the free skate, that 3rd spot needs to be confirmed at Nebelhorn. Now, the confusing part that people are reporting that is not correct, I believe, is that they will hold that spot for Vincent and take it away from the 24th place skater in the free skate at Worlds, which would be Alexei Bychenko from Israel. That's not how it's going to work. So in summary, since China ended up losing a spot by having 2 skaters in the top 24, but not enough to keep the 2 skaters based on having 28 or less total placements, there are now 23 spots actually being confirmed at Worlds. 7 spots go to Nebelhorn. That means that the United States, Russia, Canada, France, and South Korea have 5 skaters that potentially can also qualify within that 7 at Nebelhorn. What's not going to happen is that 5 spaces are taken away from 24th place, 23rd place, 22nd place, 21st place, 20th place, and then put into 5 additional at Nebelhorn to make the top 12 placements qualify. That's not going to happen. The skaters that made the free skate here will be at the Olympics, or at least their country will be, and hopefully they'll be the ones to take the spot.